Gareth, you've got your camera on.
Sorry, we haven't, the live button, it hasn't started the live recording yet. So can we start again? That's fine.
We can start again?
Yeah.
Are we ready now?
Yes, ready to go now. It was a delay.
Okay. Right. I declare the annual general meeting of the City Council open. The meeting is being conducted remotely in accordance with the coronavirus regulations and the remote meeting protocol agreed by Cabinet. We will operate alongside the Council's standing orders to ensure that we continue to take democratic decisions in an open and transparent manner. I would remind all members that the meeting is being streamed to the public, and I request that you all switch off your cameras and mute your microphones when you are not speaking to ensure there is no unnecessary background noise and to help with the audio and visual quality of the broadcast. The Council's standing orders and code of conduct will apply at all times during this virtual meeting in the same way as an ordinary meeting, and members should conduct themselves accordingly. Can I also remind members that their chat function is switched on and that they use that facility to indicate to me when they wish to speak on a particular item. Please do not speak until I invite you to do so. And remember to unmute your microphone and switch, please, your camera on. For the benefit of everyone watching this live stream at home, that's about 5 of them, when I invite members to cast their votes on a particular item, they will do so electronically using the voting facility in the chat rooms. The votes will be automatically counted and are recorded on the system, but individual votes are not identified on the screen, and the chat room poll is not available on live stream for public viewing. However, I will announce the number of votes cast for and against and any abstentions before I declare the result. As well as being broadcast live, a recorded version of this remote meeting will be uploaded to the Council's website for public viewing as soon as possible after the meeting. Welsh translations of these proceedings can be provided upon request. The images and sound recordings may be also used for training purposes within the Council. So there we go. Thank you for your patience. I have not received any apologies myself. If Democratic Services have, that will be noted. And if there's anybody else giving any apologies, can they please write their names in the chat box, and that also will be recorded in the minutes. Thank you. Okay, item 2, declarations of interests. Nominees for appointments will be asked to declare personal interests in each item before they are voted upon. So that obviously if you're taking up a position in the Cabinet or on chair, you'll be asked to just declare your interest. And the relevant forms and declaration of interest will be emailed to the members after the meeting for the completion and return. There is no need for members to leave remote meetings whilst their appointments are being determined. Are there any other declarations of interest that will be made at this stage? Okay. Right, I'm looking. No other declarations at this stage. We come to item 3, the election of the mayor. We're now moving to item 3 of the agenda, the election of the mayor for the ensuing year, 2020 to 2021. Is there a nomination, Leader of the Council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It gives me great pleasure to nominate today an elected member for Marshfield who's been a councillor since 2002. It was an absolute pleasure to work alongside this councillor as part of scrutiny committees, and I'm delighted to propose that Councillor Tom Suller is elected the Mayor of the City of Newport for the forthcoming year. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Lisa. Is there a seconder to this motion? Councillor Matthew Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It gives me great pleasure to formally second the motion.
Thank you. Is there any other nominations? There are no other nominations. Okay. It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Tom Suller be appointed as the Mayor and Chair of Council. Would all councillors please cast their vote now by clicking on the appropriate box in the chat box function and then submit. I will then give the members a short time to cast their votes before confirming the results. Okay. Right. Okay. 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 Okay, there we go. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. It is my great pleasure to announce that is a unanimous vote, and therefore can I invite the new mayor of this wonderful city of Newport, Councillor Suller, to take the chair for the remainder of this meeting, please. Thank you, Councillor Suller. Mr. Mayor, over to you.
Excuse me, I moved. Excuse me. Right. It's a great honour for me to accept the nomination of Mayor, and I look forward to serving the city as a first citizen for the remainder of this municipal year. Unfortunately, we are unable to hold a formal mayor making ceremony at the present time, but this civic event will take place as soon as possible. It can be arranged safely. There will be plenty of time for some formal speeches later, but I would like to express my thanks to the outgoing Mayor, Councillor Routley, and Lady Mayoress for the sterling work during the past year. I am pleased to announce that Councillor Val Dudley has kindly agreed to serve as my Deputy Mayor. Also, my nominated charity will be Alzheimer's Society, and my nominated chaplain is Father John O'Connell of St Mary's Church in Marshfield. Item 5. Appointment of the Leader of the Council. Will someone move the appointment of the Leader of the Council, please?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Councillor Jane Mudd as the Leader of the Council.
Is there a seconder?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Jane Mudd as leader. Second, Jane Mudd as leader.
Are there any further nominations? Then, are there any declarations of interest before we vote?
I'd like to declare an interest in this item, please, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Leader. Thank you. Then would all councillors please cast their votes now by clicking on the appropriate box in the chat room function. I will give the members a short time to cast their votes before confirming the result. Sorry, Leader, I can't see the results at the moment in the box at all. I do apologise. Yes, the vote goes like this: for 100%, against none, abstain none. So therefore, I declare the motion carried. Congratulations, Leader. Do you wish to announce your cabinet?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I would like to announce my cabinet. Cabinet Member for City Services and Deputy Leader, Councillor Roger Jevons. Cabinet Member for Sustainable Development, Councillor Deb Davis. The Cabinet Member for Communities and Resources, Councillor David Mayer. The Cabinet Member for Social Services, Councillor Paul Cochrane. Cabinet Member for Education and Skills, Councillor Gail Giles. The Cabinet Member for Legal and Regulatory Services, Councillor Ray Truman. Cabinet Member for Assets, Councillor Majid Rahman. Cabinet Member for Culture, Leisure and Tourism and Business Manager, Councillor Deb Harvey. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Leader. Councillor Evans, do you wish to announce shadow appointments as Leader of the Opposition?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and huge congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
The shadow cabinet member portfolios are as follows: the Leader of the Opposition, myself, Councillor Matthew Evans, to which I declare an interest. The Deputy Leader and Opposition Spokesperson for Education and Skills, Councillor Will Routley. The Opposition Spokesperson for City Services and Business Manager, Councillor David Fairweather. The Opposition Spokesperson for Community and Resources and Member Development, Councillor Ray Mogford. The Opposition Spokesperson for Licensing, Regulation and Assets, Councillor Martin Kellaway. The Opposition Spokesperson for Sustainable Development, Councillor Richard White. The Opposition Spokesperson for Culture and Leisure, Councillor Charles Ferris. And finally, the Opposition Spokesperson for Social Services, Councillor Joan Watkins. I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Evans. Thank you very much. Item 6, appointment of chairs. The Leader of the Council to move appointments to the chairs of planning and licensing committees. First, then we will vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. I would like to nominate Councillor John Richards to the chair of the Planning Committee and Councillor Jason Hughes to the chair of the Licensing Committee.
Are these proposed appointments seconded?
I'm happy to second those, Mr. Mayor.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any declarations of interest before we vote?
Declaration of interest.
Thank you. First, we will vote on the nomination of Councillor as Planning Committee Chair. Would all councillors please cast their vote by clicking on the appropriate box in the chat function. Again, I will give all members a short time to cast their votes before confirming result. Sorry, the sun's in my eyes. 4. This vote goes as follows: for 100%, against 0, abstain 0. Therefore, I declare the motion carried. Just turn that page. We will now move to scrutiny committees. The leader of the council to move the appointment of the chair of the overview and scrutiny management. Please, thank you.
You're right, babe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the appointment of Councillor Laura Lacey to the chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Management Committee.
Is proposed appointment seconded?
I'm on the laptop
I'd like to
garden
formally
meeting.
second that, Mr. Mayor.
Don't know where your father went.
Are there any further nominations? Leader, do we get, I've asked the question, are there any declarations of interest before we vote? Okay, for 100%, against 0, abstain. Oh, sorry, no, for 96%, against 0, 3 abstain. Therefore, the vote is confirmed. The motion is carried. Thank you. The leader of the council to move the appointment to the performance. Oh, hang on, sorry, wrong page. I do apologize, this is the wrong page, Leader. I'm new to this. Right. Scrutiny and partnerships. The leader will move the appointment, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And can I say you're doing a great job?
Thank you. Thank you, Leader.
So I'd like to nominate to the Councillor James Clark to the chair of the Performance Scrutiny Committee Partnerships.
Is the proposed appointment seconded?
Second that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest before we vote? I'll ask again, are there any declarations of interest before we vote? No,
Yeah, declaration of interest.
Okay, thank you. Then would all councillors please cast their vote by clicking on the appropriate box in the chat function. I've given all members a short time to cast their vote before confirming result. Thank you. For 94%, 0 against, 5% abstain. Therefore, I declare the motion carried. The leader of the opposition to move the appointment to the chair of Performance Scrutiny Committee people, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And can I reiterate the leader of the council's comments? You are doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, it gives me great pleasure to move Councillor Joan Watkins.
Is the proposed appointment seconded?
I second that, Mr. Mayor.
Are there any further nominations? No. Are there any declarations of interest before we vote? No. Right. Then would all councillors please cast their vote by clicking on the appropriate box in the chat function. Again, I will give all members a short time to cast their votes before confirming the result. The final vote for 70%, against 6%, abstain 21%. I declare the motion to be carried. Thank you. Councillor Kevin Whitehead to move the appointment from Newport Independence Party Chair of the Performance Scrutiny Committee, Place and Corporate. Please, Kevin. Yeah, Councillor Kevin Whitehead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chris Evans will be carrying on in the role as of last year, and I nominate him.
Is the proposed appointment seconded?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll second that.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Are there any declarations of interest before we vote?
Mr. Mayor, just to let you know, Chris Evans is not attending, so.
Yeah, nod's as good as a wink to a blind man. Thank you. Would all councillors please cast their votes by now clicking on the appropriate box in the chat function. I give all members a short time to cast their votes before confirming the result. Thank you. The final vote, 66% for, against 6%, abstain 25%. I declare the motion to be carried. Leader of the Opposition to move the appointment of the Chair of Democratic Services Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It gives me great pleasure to move Councillor Charles Ferris.
Is the proposed appointment seconded?
I second that, Mr. Mayor.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any declarations of interest before we vote?
I declare an interest, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ferris. Then would all councillors please cast their vote by clicking on the appropriate box in the chat function. I give all members a short time to cast their votes before confirming result. The result is nearly. The result 90% for, against 0, abstain 8%. Therefore, congratulations. The motion is carried. Congratulations to all of you on your appointments. Thank you. Item 7. Who will give the effective appointments by the political groups, please? Leave the council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The appointment of members to the committees will be passed to the proper officer and recorded in the minutes. This doesn't need a vote.
Okay, thank you. Leader of the Opposition, you may wish to announce appointments from your group, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Likewise, the appointment of members to the committees will be passed on to the proper officer and recorded in the minutes.
Thank you. May I assume that leaders of other groups will also pass on the appointment of members to committees to the proper officer, recording in the minutes?
We shall do, Mr. Mayor, and they'll be as they were.
Thank you, Councillor Whitehead. Thank you.
Yeah, the same for us as well. Liberal Democrat.
Thank you. Thank you all. Councillor Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations on becoming our new mayor.
Thank you.
The group business managers will pass the appointment of members to the external bodies to the proper officer for recording in the minutes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Harvey. Thank you. Item 9, appointment of Chief Executive. Leader to move the recommendation of the appointments subcommittee. The leader will then move the appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. I'd like to thank our independent advisors, the cross-party members of the Appointments Subcommittee, the external stakeholders who contributed to the independent panels that supported the process, and our internal stakeholders who also contributed to the independent panels that supported the process. Particular thanks to the Youth Council for their engagement within this and supporting us with this. The recommendation of the Appointments Subcommittee is that Beverly Owen is appointed to the role of Chief Executive.
Is the proposed appointment seconded?
We formally second that appointment, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jevons. Are there any other comments, please? Any comments? Thank you. Councillor Matthew Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will be voting against this recommendation, a decision I have not taken lightly. I want to make it quite clear this in no way reflects on the abilities of Bev, who has been an excellent strategic director. Having taken legal advice, it would not be appropriate for me to give the reasons behind this. But of course, should your appointment be confirmed now, as I'm sure it will be, I will continue to work with you to ensure Newport residents receive the best services possible.
Thank you, Councillor Matthew Evans. Anybody else have any comments, please? Thank you very much. Then will all councillors please cast their votes by now clicking on the appropriate box in the chat function. I will give all members a short time to cast their votes before confirming the result. Thank you. Thank you. The result goes as follows: 73% for, against 21%, abstain 5%. Therefore, I declare the appointment of the Chief Executive to be carried. Thank you. Item 10, Members' Scheme of Remuneration. The report is before us formally to approve and adopt the scheme of the members' allowances 2020 to 2021 as recommended by the Independent Remuneration Panel for Wales. I am happy to move the report. Is there a seconder?
I'm happy to second that report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Leader. Then would all councillors cast their vote by clicking on the appropriate box in the chat function. I will give all members a short time to cast their votes before confirming the result. Thank you. The result, 93% for, against 3%, abstain 3%. Therefore, I declare the motion carried. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Please,
Leader, sorry.
Please, could I just raise an item? I think we may have missed the vote for the chair of the licensing committee, Mr. Mayor. I think we planning might have missed licensing. If we could just check with officers, please. Perhaps we could return to that if we have missed it.
Do apologise if I forgot it.
Yes, the leader is correct. I think you skipped from the initial nomination to the scrutiny chairs, so we do need to go back and confirm the appointment of that committee member.
Okay. I do apologise. I'm new at this game. Thank you.
You're doing fine, Tom.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
It's the chair of licensing committee,
right.
Mr.
Okay, yes, I got it, thank you. And now for the nomination of councillor as licensing committee chair. Would all councillors please cast their vote by clicking on the appropriate box in the function. Hang on. Sorry, I'll start again. I missed it again. Different page, sorry. Right.
It's been moved and seconded, Mr. Mayor, so it just needs to go to the vote.
Okay. Can we go straight to the vote then, please? Of the chair of licensing. I do apologise.
Mr. Mayor, this is all new to all of us at the moment, and I think you're doing a sterling job, so you don't have to keep apologising, it's fine.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Totally agree. Hear, hear. You're doing a great job, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. 4, the voting goes as following: 96%, 97%, against 2%, abstain 0. I therefore declare the motion carried. Thank you. And thank you, Leader, for pointing that out to me. Thank you. Right. Right. We've done this remuneration. That concludes the business of the AGM. Thank you for all attending remotely. Then I declare the meeting closed. And thank you very much for supporting me as Mayor for this final 8 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Congratulations, Tom.